Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to another episode of Mondays Are for the Nerds. I'm your co-host, Jay Wright.
And I'm your other co-host, Tristan Stump.
This is where we recap all of your previous week's nerdy news in terms of news in the pop culture world. Did you do anything? That's been a pretty slow week for me.
I was feeling ill the other day, so I had to call into work. And I spent all day and I played a point-and-click game that came out 2016, and I think the version I have is a director's cut from like 2021 that has like extra rooms and puzzles and stuff, called Kathy Rain: A Detective Is Born. Very, very good.
Would I like it?
I think you would. It's got some scares, but nothing that's legitimately unsettling.
Yeah.
Until towards the end, but then towards the end, it's just kind of like I think you could handle it. But it's got a pretty interesting story. And then I beat it, and I'm like, didn't they announce like I thought I named on here that a sequel was announced last year, and I looked, and yeah, there's a sequel that's supposed to be coming out this year sometime.
Nice.
Or we would suppose this year sometime. There's one point-click game I am super excited for that I don't know if we've talked so much on here, but I don't know if I've ever talked about that they announced its release date this February that I'm super excited for, called Slender Threads. But Kathy Rain, I enjoyed it. I beat it. It's like 7 hours, I think. There was some extra time it took only because I would pause the game, go eat, and different things like that. So it was like... so maybe 6.5-ish games. Like I was able to solve most of the puzzles by myself. There was only one time where I'm like, I have to look up what to do because the game's not telling me what to do. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
I've been there with games.
But yeah, voice acting was all decent. The guy that voices Dr. Robotnik in the video games was actually in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty good mystery thriller kind of. I'm interested to see if the second one goes in the same direction as the first one did, because the first one's just kind of like, maybe the supernatural stuff is real, maybe it's not. Whereas the trailer for the second one doesn't make it look like there's supernatural stuff in it at all. So I'm like,
is it kind of like our Noir Boys? I mean, I know the second one leads more into supernatural a little bit for us.
No, I would say it's a lot more. I don't even know how to what comparison I would put it. Twin Peaks, maybe Twin Peaks-ish mixed with a little bit of X-Files.
It's like Secrecy,
where it's a lot more like it does a lot more of the up until the end. A lot more of the supernatural stuff is left up in the air, and then it's like, oh no, it was all real. I mean, spoiler alert for a 8-year-old, 9-year-old game, but yeah, pretty interesting one.
Nice.
It's this girl. She's in college for journalism, and her roommate is who they have this whole thing where it's like they're friends, but also the roommate kind of oversteps boundaries all the time. And one of them being, oh yeah, I was looking at an obituary from your hometown came up, and he has your last name. And she's like, that's my grandpa. Wait, how did you know where I grew up? I never told you where I grew up. Like that's that kind of there. Anyway, so she finds out through that roommate that her grandpa passed away, and that she hadn't seen since she was like 9 or 6 or something like that. So she goes to the funeral and reconnects with her grandma, and then finds out that her grandpa had an accident that left him comatose or something in a wheelchair for the last 15 years of his life. Yeah. And so she goes to investigate that, and that's where the game kind of picks up from there, like what accident caused him to do that, what's up with this church that claims to be a Christian church, but there's a lot more going on, and different things where it's very good. I really enjoyed it. And when I say Twin Peaks, there's a character in there that's very alike. I'm like, I get Twin Peaks vibes from this guy. Yeah. The man in the red room, that guy. Yeah. There's a character that's kind of like that.
I say that I have not seen Twin Peaks.
Anyway, but yeah, I really can't talk about it much without going into spoilers. But if it's piqued your interest, then I'm like,
oh yeah, I'm down.
We can totally play that at some point.
Yeah.
But no, I did that. This is going to sound super lame. I got a journal, like this little black journal, and I have cataloged every game, movie, and figure that I have, I wrote a board game. I just kind of wrote it down. And it's like, this is everything 2024, and in 2025, it's not going to be as organized. I'm just going to write them down as I get them.
Yeah, it feels good to do that.
But yeah, so now
that random bits of organization that you get.
It's like now I have proof of this is a list of everything I have. So if anyone asks do you have this? I mean, instead of having to dig through stuff, I'm like, let me just. Yeah. Yep, I have it.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was snowpocalypse the last couple of weeks here, so.
Yep. That's why I didn't get to see Den of Thieves 2. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I did other than what we did today, which we'll save for later.
Yeah.
So,
Was it tease?
yeah, that's just we're teasing more to come.
Yeah.
Well, like we did last week. There's
There's
more to come this year.
There's stuff in the pipeline.
You said you didn't do much this week.
I mean, my big thing was going to be Den of Thieves 2, and that didn't happen because of snow.
Yeah.
I watched Taken for the first time. Also Night and Day. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. Love Night and Day. I loved it. I'm like, this is giving me Age of Dubs vibes a little bit.
I watched the end of Trap last night.
Nice.
Because D&D was last night, and so we were playing that. After that, went downstairs, and my family was watching Trap, so I watched the very end, and I was just like, well, that ending was a little.
How much?
I know enough about
the
it.
Very end.
Yeah, it was the very end, and so I watched it. And I was like, going by what I know, the rest of the movie, the ending seemed kind of.
Yeah. That's why I think I'm pretty much, this is what I said on here, is like, for someone who's not seen it, M. Night Shyamalan movie, it was good.
Because my mom watched it and was like, well, I guess that's setting up a sequel? Like, that's the only thing that could have possibly, that's the only way why they could have ended it that way. Yeah, so that's another random thing. Just watch the very end of a movie that I probably wouldn't have chosen to watch myself anyway. So
Right. Should I get my releases this week?
Yes, sir.
On the movie side, on VOD/digital, on Tuesday, January 7th, Flow, released on VOD. And on Friday, January 10th, Getaway release. A remote getaway takes an unexpected turn when a family discovers the island that they're on is inhabited by a serial killer. In theaters this week, on Friday, January 10th, Better Man, for the third episode in a row showing up, got an expansion, released to theaters nationwide again. I want to see that so bad. That is a Robbie Williams biopic where he's played by a CGI chimp. Den of Thieves 2 Pantera also released. Lawman Big Nick O'Brien gets embroiled in the treacherous and unpredictable world of diamond thieves as he pursues career criminal Donnie Wilson to Europe. And Hard Truths released in theaters. Set in London, the plot follows the plight of depressed middle-aged woman Pansy and her relationship with her close ones, including the crumbling relationship with her jovial sister Chantel, who is a polar opposite in terms of mood, and the state of her other interpersonal relationships. On TV, on Sunday, January 5th, Anne Rice's Mayfair Witches Season 2, released on AMC. On Tuesday, January 7th, we got the Doc series premiere on Fox. And on Netflix, the docuseries Jerry Springer Fights Camera Action dropped. On Wednesday, January 8th, Shifting Gears premiered on ABC, followed by the Abbott Elementary Season 4B premiere on ABC, which is the second week in a row for it because it is the Always Sunny in Philadelphia crossover episode. I was able to watch that. I've never seen an episode of It's Always Sunny. Mm-hmm. I really liked it. Of course, Quentin Brunson was like, if you're an Abbott Elementary fan and you watch this, it'll just be like regular guest stars.
Yeah.
Despite me knowing a little bit about It's Always Sunny, and I'm like, it was pretty cool to watch them. But apparently, I don't know the release date for their crossover episode on Sunny, but it can continues the story, even though there's not really a story to continue, but it's like their side of things.
Okay, it's kind of like how I think it was.
They can be standalone.
It was Bones and Sleepy Hollow crossed over, and it was the same way where they kind of
their own stories.
If the only reason you need to watch the Bones one first, I think, is because in the Sleepy Hollow one they mention, because they helped us, we're gonna go help them do this, but they're not really. You could watch them.
Yeah. I mean, there's something that they allude to, which I don't know if it happens earlier on in the Sunny season. But I think
the only series I know that do crossovers like that, where one episode is on one series and one episode is on the other series, where you have to watch both, was Magnum P.I. and Murder, She Wrote.
And the Chicago shows do that.
Oh, yeah, the Chicago, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, but...
they also had one with FBI, though, which is on a completely different network. Not really a spoiler, but Danny DeVito's side plot. They had these all for the different plots, and there's 4 different plots, A, B, C, D. Sunny characters are thrown in there everywhere. But Danny DeVito, he interacted most with who I wanted him to interact most with, and that was Mr. Johnson, the custodian.
Oh, yeah, you knew that had to be the one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and it was gold. It was gold. I'm just the preface, they're trying to catch a raccoon in the garden. That's all I want to say. It was really good. The Pit also premiered on Max on January 9th, and American Primaville premiered on Netflix. And on Friday, January 10th, we got the premiere, or all episodes, of Goosebumps The Vanishing on Disney Plus and Hulu. That is all of my releases for this week.
Glad to see David Schwimmer doing.
Oh yeah, and they said it's like one of his best roles of his career. Which, no love for Melman. That reminds me, I was watching a TikTok and they brought up the Penguins Madagascar, and he's like, one of my favorite jokes in all of cinema. They said this was the very beginning with a vending machine, and like it sucks all of them up, and Skipper's just like, I don't like your attitude, vending machine, or your prices. Oh, I love that movie so much.
Video game releases this week. January 7th, we had, I think Wise is how you're supposed to say the name of this series. It might be Yeez or East or something, and I'm going to say Wise. A Wise memoir, The Oath in Felghana on PlayStation and Switch from Nyan Falcom and Exceed Games. Originally conceived as a reimagining of the 16-bit console classic Wise 3 Wonders from Wise, this fan-favorite entry returns newly remastered as Wise memoir, The Oath in Felghana. Nearly 15 years after its previous release, longtime fans can look forward to numerous improvements and upgrades, including an all-new voiceover for legendary protagonist Adol Christin. Remastered high-definition visuals and music, the epic adventure has never looked or sounded better. The additional features include multiple versions of the sweeping soundtrack, accessibility options, and brand new character illustrations, making Wise Memoir the definitive edition of the acclaimed masterpiece. On January 9th, we had Rangers in the South on PC from DPA Studios. Purge the lands in this 2.5D HD pixel art roguelike ARPG. Create hundreds of characters with unique strategies and abilities, face hordes of enemies, explore different biomes, procedurally generated dungeons, and obtain unique items. As well as The Last Flame on PC from Hotloop. Recruit a party of unique heroes, fight deadly encounters, loot and craft powerful gear, discover and create thousands of synergetic builds. For some odd reason, that was really hard to say. The Last Flame is an endless roguelike auto-battler in which you guide a righteous party of heroes through many challenges. And finally, on January 10th, we had Beyond Memories, Darkness of the Soul on Switch, PC, and PS5 from Epi XR Games. Don the cloak of a charming yet eerie Grim Reaper in this haunting narrative flight simulation. Glide through dark, mysterious landscapes, shattering cages to free tormented souls and reveal their chilling stories. Experience a spooky, non-violent adventure with 11 eerie tales. And Freedom Wars Remastered on PC, PlayStation, and Switch from devs Demps Corporation and publisher Bandai Namco. Born in a 1 million year prison sentence, you must survive deadly missions to earn any hope of freedom. Die in prison or live on the battlefield. The choice is yours. But yeah, so those are my releases this week.
Nice. We'll get more coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
On down the road.
It's going to be slow for a bit, but we're going to get until like March and things will start picking up. But until then, you're going to get a couple. Like there's a Nintendo one next week.
On my side of things, on the first part of miscellaneous, for posters, prepare to hear the word man quite a lot in my notes this week. On posters, we got the 40X poster for Wolfman, the Dolby poster for Dogman, got a new trailer or new poster for A Working Man, and the Dolby poster for Presence. For on the trailers this week, we got a new trailer for The Last of Us Season 2, releasing on April on HBO. New trailer for Hard Eyes, February 7th in theaters. Kinda Pregnant, releasing February 5th on Netflix. Reacher Season 3, releasing February 20th on Amazon Prime Video. In The Lost Lands, releasing March 7th in theaters. Companion, releasing January 31st in theaters. A Working Man, releasing March 28th in theaters. And King of Kings, releasing April 11th in theaters. For the release dates / windows, The Last of Us Season 2, they did confirm will release in April. The Critics' Choice Awards have been postponed indefinitely due to the LA area wildfires. Minions 3 moved up to July 1st, 2026, which means Shrek 5 has been delayed to December 23rd, 2026. Which means I told you I get to hate on the Minions this week for delaying us more Shrek.
At first, I was like, why would that delay? But then I remembered that Universal and doesn't it own DreamWorks? It used to be Fox, and then it was, or not
I don't
owned.
remember.
I think it was
Subsidiary kind of.
Yeah, I think DreamWorks is in the same vein as Pixar was before Disney bought it, where it was like basically they get funded by Fox.
Yeah.
I think it was they used to be with Universal. They switched to 20th Century, and I think now they're back to they were back to Universal after Captain Underpants. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know why I explained all that.
I never knew that.
Yeah, they
I never really paid attention to it. That was before I started paying attention to movies, but
yeah. So that's why I remember why I was saying all that, that's why they probably delayed Shrek 5 was because even though they're two separate studios, it's the same umbrella, so they're probably having to space out that release.
Yeah.
But hey,
I do have this now.
That means Shrekmas.
And we also get Ice Age 6 in December of that year, too.
So Shrek 5 and Ice Age 6.
Yeah.
And then earlier in the year, we get Mario 2, Toy Story 6, and 5. I don't know why I said 6. Toy Story 5 and Minions 3. Technically, Despicable Me 7, if you want to really think about how how much different the Minions movies are from Despicable Me. It's the next 2026 is the year of sequels, and I have a
Animated sequels.
I have a feeling it's going to be the same way with live action in a certain sense.
Probably. And who knows? For Christmas, throw Timothy Chalamet on there too. What if he's in Shrek 5? That'd be 4 in a row.
He just replaces Justin Timberlake as Artie.
Exactly. Oh, wouldn't be surprised.
Hey, he can only have one DreamWorks character, and if he's going to be Branch, he loses Artie.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't do both.
The character they didn't bring back because he was touring.
Yeah. Anyway, also, I don't know if you probably did see this. New episodes of The Amazing World of Gumball will release sometime this year.
Yep, this year it's finally coming back. The movie got canceled because of it, but you know what?
We're getting more episodes.
Yeah, and the movie's still on the table. I think the creator said.
So,
but hey, more Gumball.
More Gumball is good Gumball.
Is good. As long as the same team got to work on it.
Exactly. True. You will add a little asterisk to that. More Gumball is good Gumball. And for castings, Mark Burkholder will reportedly voice Kid Omni-Man in Invincible Season 3. The Dog stars Jacob Elordi is in talk to star in Ridley Scott's film, replacing Paul Mescal. The post-apocalyptic thriller follows a civilian pilot living with a dog and an ex-Marine set in a near future where an unnamed pandemic has decimated American society. The Dark Knight, spelled exactly how the Batman movie does. Armie Hammer is attempting to make an acting comeback with a lead role in Uwe Boll's new film. We'll follow a vigilante who hunts down criminals.
But it's not
Batman.
Not Batman,
guys. I just realized that.
It's not Batman, guys.
It's not Batman.
It's called The Dark Knight, but it's not Batman, guys. Armie Hammer's in it, but he's not Batman.
It's not Batman.
I saw there was an interview where people were or not an interview, it was a statement made by the director where it's like, hey, we know the name's the same, but it's different from Batman. We swear. Yeah. That's the
vibe I just put two and two together.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Not the same.
It's my own thing.
It's my own thing.
Uwe Boll.
I cannot wait to see the next movie I'm making after that is called Man of Steel, but it's spelled with an EA.
Exactly. Armie Hammer's character is going to have like a black suit, like a little yellow thing right here. It's not Batman. It's not Batman. Cape and cowl. Dexter Resurrection, I should say. David Zayas, Jack Alcott, and James Remar will all return for the sequel series, and there will be series regulars. Ahsoka, Rory McCann has reportedly been cast as Balin Skull in Season 2. He'll, of course, replace Ray Stevenson in the role who sadly passed away. The Wizard of the Kremlin, Jude Law, has been cast as Vladimir Putin in Olivier Assayas' film. And when Saturday Night Live returns this year on January 18th with host Dave Chappelle and musical guest Glorilla, and then the following week on January 25th, I told you this today, Timothy Chalamet will pull double duty.
Yeah.
As host and musical guest, so expect a Bob Dylan song in there. That is all my first part of miscellaneous this week.
I got my gaming news. CES 2025 was held this past weekend. It's a tech showcase for companies to show off like new technologies. A lot of gaming people show up. But there was other stuff announced there, so it's not purely gaming. But I don't have every single thing announced there because we're not really a techie podcast.
Yeah.
I just brought some of the stuff that was interesting personally to me, or like just for gaming. Like this is big enough in gaming that I'll bring it up. But just so if people are like, well, why didn't they talk about? We'd be here for forever, honestly, because there was a lot. But Ubisoft has once again delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows from February 14th to March 20th. Unfortunately, but Jay, think about the one good thing we got out of this was that Facebook post from Domino's.
I forgot about
If people don't know, Domino's posted a screenshot of the delay and was like, "Hey, do you need our help delivering on time?
We deliver in 30 minutes or less." And then
Assassin's Creed Shadows responded, "Pizza party win."
Yeah.
And so it was like, well, that tells me there's going to be an Assassin's Creed Shadows there's going to be something, a collab.
There has to be.
Probably releases in February because that's when the contract was made.
Yeah.
Anyway, but speaking of Ubisoft going on, or do you want to talk about your...
I was going to say they wait any longer, they're going to run into Ghost of Yotai.
Yeah.
Which is also supposed to come out this year.
Well, you notice you talk about oh man, they delayed they delayed Shrek because of Minions.
What are you about to tell me?
Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition comes out on March 20th, so Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to I mean, not really, because it's not coming to Switch.
I was about to tell me some Minion game is releasing.
Oh, no. I don't think there's been a Despicable Me video game since the second movie.
Good. Just kidding.
That isn't like a mobile game or something, because there's
Yeah.
probably like Run Minions Run or something.
Minions Mayhem, I think. Yeah.
Ubisoft, speaking of like moving on from that, has suffered several layoffs and cut costs over the past couple years, especially the last year. It had been rumored that they were discussing a buyout from Tencent, that Tencent would buy them. Or Tencent, I can't remember how you pronounce it. Anyway, an emergency investors meeting was held regarding these concerns, in which Ubisoft responded with the following. See if you can make sense of this. Ubisoft has appointed leading advisors to review and pursue various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options to extract the best value for stakeholders. This process will be overseen by the independent members of the board of directors. Ubisoft will inform the market in accordance with applicable regulations if and once a transaction materializes.
It's a lot of professional talk. I didn't understand half of it.
Exactly. People are like, this basically means we have people coming in trying to see if we can get out of it, but it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
If I were to, like, if there's like another non-Nintendo prediction to make, Ubisoft probably going to get bought out. That doesn't mean Ubisoft's going away. It just means there's going to be a little bit of a change with Ubisoft, which it's both a good and bad for companies like that to get bought out. And so, on one hand, better decisions might be made, but on the other hand, we don't need more monopolies.
Yeah.
So it's it's kind of Ubisoft's a messy situation. They are really, I think, if Assassin's Creed Shadows does not sell well, it is definitely because Outlaws did comparably, it did terribly.
Did they do
Star Wars Outlaws? I'm pretty sure.
I mean, yeah.
It did not do great. It's good. It's an all right game, but it did not do great sales wise. And so Assassin's Creed Shadows is like if it does not sell well, it will be the tell. Okay, they're getting bought out.
It needs to sell well because it's what we've wanted. Assassin's Creed in Japan.
Which is probably why they're delaying it. They're probably trying to make this as good as a possible game as it can.
I hate that it's delayed, but I'm also like, if it's gonna be.
And honestly, Assassin's Creed feels more like kind of a March release anyway. Like February kind of seemed weird to me. I mean, it was originally supposed to be November, but spring and fall seems. But like February was such a weird month. I'm like, that's just like an odd. Not a lot of major stuff usually comes out in February that I can remember off the top of my head. Video game wise, there's probably been some, but like you think of March.
Oh yeah,
there's going to be springtime. That fiscal beginning and end of that fiscal year. Wallace and Gromit content is coming to Power Wash Simulator in March.
Yes.
Another major release for March right there. Just making my point. On January 9th, Nintendo released an overview trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition titled The Year is 2054. As a reminder, it's coming out March 20th. The new re-release will come with new characters, mechs, story content, and zones to explore, as well as an improved UI, which a lot of fans are like, finally, because apparently on the Wii U it was super tiny. Reed Richards and Susan Storm were added to Marvel Rivals alongside the launch of Season 1 on January 10th. The Thing and Johnny Storm will follow soon after.
Yes.
Nintendo released a statement regarding the recent Switch successor leaks that I thought about talking about, but I figured things were getting pretty messy enough anyway that I was like, it's going to be hard to try to like pin down it organize it all into one big thing.
Yeah.
So I just included this. Their statement was that the renders and videos were not official, so they didn't exactly debunk the leaks, but they did say, hey, these aren't official. The accessories manufacturer that was leaking a lot of it did backtrack what some of their statements and say that a lot of the dummy consoles and stuff that you saw on display were based on not officially based on what the console actually might be, but it's the right dimensions, but it's not based on the actual console. It's just based on what stuff they were given.
It's like size wise is probably good.
Yeah. So that was another big like CES thing was like, oh man, this console manufacturer, like they're showing off the Switch 2 and Nintendo's not even announced it yet.
Yeah.
Apparently it's not as accurate as they're claiming, but it's still, we're fairly certain what we saw is what it looks like.
What it's probably going
to end up being. Nintendo's just being like, hey. In fact, apparently they sent their lawyers after them, so they were like,
I bet.
Which does not shock me.
Yeah,
we talked about that.
Yeah, they do it for everything. They're like Disney.
Limited Run Games revealed a Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 physical release with a slew of collectibles. I started to list them all, and then it was just a lot. I saw a sword and like different things. It was just a lot. Jar Jar Binks was revealed as one of 13 new playable characters for the upcoming re-release of Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles coming January 23rd. A Lego Game Boy was teased for a October 2025 release.
Yes.
I will be getting that. I missed out on getting the
dude.
Lego NES, and I think that's been discontinued now as of like this month. So I'm like, I better get the Game Boy though. A Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii presentation was held January 9th, which showed off more of the game. Releases February 21st, 2025 on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. A House of the Dead 2 remake was announced for spring 2025 to release on all major platforms. Dragonkin The Banished releases in early access March 6th. I believe that is a mobile game. Monster Hunter Wilds has announced a second open beta for February 6th through 9th and February 13th through 16th. A trailer was released for the Dead by Daylight Junji Ito collection content available now. NVIDIA showcased graphical comparisons for its new DLSS 4. Metroidvania Somber Echoes releases January 21st on PC. A Welcome to Noxus cinematic was released for League of Legends from the it was animated by the Arcane team. A new look at Doom the Dark Ages was released. A gameplay trailer for the upcoming Game of Thrones mobile RPG was released. According to a recent job listing, a new AAA game studio has been established by PlayStation in LA. At CES, PlayStation showcased a new technology allowing players to smell games that they are playing. The game demoed for the technology was The Last of Us, which I'm sure smelled wonderful.
Oh, yeah, no, that's...
Apparently, they had this big like room that was like a big cube with screens everywhere, and then it would just emit like something emitted smells, which I think there was a patent a while back. I could be wrong.
Of all things, though, The Last of Us, that's death. Unless it's just
mushrooms, I guess. A lot of mushroom smell, but
well, you also got like blood in there.
Well, yeah. So apparently, PlayStation is wanting us to smell their games now. An Xbox Developer Direct has been announced for January 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. A deep dive into South of Midnight, Clair Obscure Expedition 33, Doom the Dark Ages, and a fourth unknown game will be shown off.
Do you think they're going to announce the release date for Indiana Jones on PS5?
Maybe then. Maybe. I mean, it's supposed to be the first quarter, so between now and the end of March. Developer Splash Damage announced the official cancellation of the upcoming Transformers game, Transformers Reactivate. This could result in layoffs within the team. Hatsune Miku is coming to Fortnite, and Kryva Horror was announced, a found footage horror game set after the Chernobyl explosion, with mutants and aliens involved, coming to Steam this year.
And to finish up my miscellaneous and new looks, we got a lot. The studio released a first clip. On The Last of Us Season 2, we got a new look at Caitlin Dever and Bella Ramsey as Abby and Ellie. Wolfman, we got a first look at Christopher Abbott as the Wolfman, and new stills from Dogman. New look at The Monkey. 28 years later, got some new information on. We got a new look at Aaron Taylor Johnson and Rafe Fiennes as well. Some new information on the story. Cillian Murphy will not appear in it. New story details say it follows a community on Holy Island, a section of land only connected to the UK when the tide recedes each day, and the rest of the world remains relatively unaffected from zombies, except the UK. And Rafe Fiennes is described as a doctor who has somehow survived the zombie apocalypse on mainland UK for 28 years. Got a new look at Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. You see that? Comes out next week.
This is my Minions.
It was gonna show up next week because it releases Monday. Set in the Poohniverse, it follows Peter Pan as a demented child napper hell-bent on sending young boys to Neverland. Also said Tinkerbell is fed heroin by Peter Pan, which he calls pixie dust.
The Poohniverse is I think Minions is like not like a
compliment.
Compliment. I don't. My feelings towards the Poohniverse is nothing but negative. Like it is. It's dark for the sake of being dark.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I react like this
Pixie
because as you think the reason I'm reacting like this because I'm excited for it. I'm not going to watch this. Yeah, and apparently this is supposed to come out this year. We got Pinocchio Unstrung, Bambi Reckoning, and then Poohvengers.
The Poohvengers is
Monsters Assemble. That's all supposed to come out this year. They're releasing 4 of them, back to back to back.
I thought we were supposed to get the Winnie the Pooh movie with Tigger.
That already came out.
That already
year.
came out. Oh,
yeah, those last and Owl and no, just Tigger and Owl.
Just Tigger and Owl. Yeah, I don't think Rabbit is public domain yet.
They also said Peter Pan is going to be the main villain of the Poohvengers, along with Mary Poppins and the Mad Hatter.
Mary Poppins?
Yeah, and they also plan on making Mary Poppins and Mad Hatter solo movies too.
So like. Mad Hatter, I get. Alice in Wonderland, that's been public domain for forever.
Yeah.
So, like, all these other, but, like, Mary Poppins is public domain, but you're only including it because Disney and not because it makes sense into the children's book narrative.
They said they're both child nappers, which they literally call it a child napper. Her and Peter Pan are child nappers.
We've already got a Popeye horror movie on the way.
I think the Steamboat Willie comes out this month.
Yeah, this
end of the month, I think.
Whatever they're calling, I can't remember. Screamboat Willie or something.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience for these movies, man. I don't like horror. I don't like slashers enough as it is.
Mm-hmm.
But for it to be like
This
making it a slasher just because it's funny to make a kids thing. And I say that, and I like Five Nights at Freddy's, but I know that's like making a kids thing scary. But like
Chuck E. Cheese.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I just have such an emotional attachment to Pooh Bear. And the idea of a Mary Poppins horror movie is just so stupid. I mean, you couldn't even base it anywhere near on the Disney movie because the Disney movie is so far from the books.
Yeah. Let's see. When does Mary Poppins get into public domain?
I'm ranting about this for way too long. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the book was published in 1934.
So yeah, 95 years, so it'd be 28, 29, I think.
Wait, hold on. Oh.
Unless the estate already put it in public domain, because sometimes they'll do that.
Mary Poppins and the Matchmaker entered the public domain in 2022 in the United States, and it was first published in 1926. The more iconic version is from P.L. Travers' 1934 book, still under copyright until 2030.
Yeah, so they can't even base it on the Disney, like the one that Disney was inspired by. You're doing it for the sake of.
Let's move on.
Let's move on before I get more mad.
We got some real quick new looks at the following movies: Jurassic World Rebirth, Karate Kid Legends, Sinners, Ballerina. We got our first clip of Fight or Flight and a new clip of Better Man, again for the third episode in a row. For first looks, we got a first look at the logo for Scream 7 and our first look at King of Kings. Oscar Isaac stars as the voice of Jesus, also starring Mark Hamill, Uma Thurman, Forrest Whitaker, Ben Kingsley, Pierce Brosnan, and Kenneth Branagh. We were watching the trailer and like all those names were like, whoa,
that's a stacked cast for a relatively, I wouldn't say relatively small studio, but like, niche kind of film that it is.
Very niche. That's for those of us people don't know. That's the one with Charles Dickens.
Yeah,
takes his son.
We've talked about it before. Charles Dickens takes his son on a time traveling journey to watch the story of Jesus, and it's got this surprisingly stacked cast. Normally,
you might get like one.
Normally, like religious movies of any kind,
Dennis Quaid.
Don't get a whole lot of like you'll get one or two. Big people. But this is almost like I would say Prince of Egypt level of like, that's
absolutely.
That's like I wouldn't say the animation's Prince of Egypt level.
I
looked at that trailer. I was like, you could definitely tell that had the budget went into the cast.
Stars. Yeah.
But I mean, hey, Mark Hamill's King Herod, and what were the other ones we saw? Anyway, it was
Kenneth Branagh is and Uma Thurman are Charles Dickens and his wife. Forrest Whitaker's Peter. Pierce Brosnan is Pilate. I think Ben Kingsley is Caiaphas.
So it's
the kid from Jojo Rabbit is the son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that we'll see how it is when it comes out.
Yeah, on Easter. Comes out in Easter. On box office, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 for the third episode in a row earned enough to make the Sonic franchise past $1 billion worldwide and also become the second highest grossing video game adaptation in the U.S. I believe probably behind the first one?
Behind Mario movie.
That's right. Duh. Nosferatu for the second episode in a row passed $100 million worldwide, and Wicked for the sixth episode in a row earned $70 million in digital sales in the film's first 70 days. Reportedly, 26 million of that was on New Year's Eve alone. Glenn Powell for the 10th episode in a row. Glenn Powell and his production company Barnstorm have signed a first look deal with Universal Pictures to develop films for the studio, saying, quote, I want our company to be a destination for world-class theatrical entertainment. And also, in Running Man, Coleman Domingo has been cast as the game show host. We got some How to Train a Dragon news, new look at Hiccup and Astrid. And then new announcements, not a lot. A Grimm reboot is in the works at Peacock. Sony Pictures PlayStation titles, we got some releases on that. A live-action Helldivers movie is in the works, and a live-action Horizon Zero Dawn movie adaptation is in the works. And I believe they're also making a show, aren't they? That was God of War.
No, yeah, God of War.
God of War was getting a show on Amazon. A TV series reboot of Holes is in the works at Disney Plus.
It's apparently all female, like
a
female
gender flip,
gender flip Holes reboot.
Tom Holland will star in and produce an adaptation of John Grisham's The Partner for Universal. The film will follow a young law firm partner faking his death and fleeing to South America, stealing $90 million from a client and leaving behind his wife and kids. I have one piece of miscellaneous news to bring up. The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's next film, will have a $250 million budget, one of his most expensive films ever, because he actually has to create a Cyclops. Can't use CGI.
Yeah, no.
All this is going to be practical.
He has to start either his.
They got to build a laboratory to create. He has to
either grow the Cyclops in a lab or do some kind of multi-dimensional adventure that he will probably turn into a movie at some point.
Oh yeah.
To bring a Cyclops to our world, which will undoubtedly have devastating consequences on the fabric of time and reality.
Can't use CGI.
But no CGI.
We say this, all love for Christopher Nolan. He can do nearly no wrong. By the way, this is the second episode in a row for Christopher Nolan. And that is all of my news this week, apart from the later ones. Anniversaries. We have the return of anniversaries.
We have a handful of anniversaries this week. January 5th was the 55th anniversary of All My Children, as well as the 15th anniversary of Bayonetta on PS3 and Xbox 360, as well as the 15th anniversary of Darksiders on PS3 and Xbox 360. January 6th was the 10th anniversary of The Revenant, the 50th anniversary of Wheel of Fortune, the 10th anniversary of Agent Carter, the 52nd anniversary of Schoolhouse Rock, and the 35th anniversary of Adventures of Lolo 2 on NES. Agent Carter being 10 is wild. That feels old. That feels older than it should be.
It was after.
What was after?
Well, I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is like 12 because it came out the year 11.
It came out
the year after Avengers. Agents of Carter so good.
Agent Carter is very good.
I might be in a minority. The ABC Marvel shows, amazing.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
They really good. Unfortunate that they are not as connected to the rest of the MCU as the rest are, because Ghost Rider, they're probably when they introduce if
granted, that was Robbie Reyes. We did get a look at Johnny Blaze though.
If they ever get a Ghost Rider in the main movies, it'll probably be a completely new concept. Like they'll just ignore Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, I'm surprised that Coulson hasn't.
Yeah, he came back for Captain Marvel and then the What If voice.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing.
So I'm surprised they haven't been like, oh yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a very close alternate timeline.
Yeah.
Like instead of
so good.
Like instead of like we brought you back to life and you thought you were on, like, what if it's just like no, he just woke up in another timeline, like that revelation, and then I would almost be okay with them ignoring it, being like, oh well, it ties into the multiverse thing now.
Yeah. But I love and I've told you this, what I love about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, and especially now with the MCU is the guy who plays Jarvis, human Jarvis. Mm-hmm. Of course, not Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
Came back in Endgame. And then his voice was in What If Season 3. Yeah. And I was like, I loved their stick because I loved him. So he liked his own little quirks as Jarvis, and I loved it so much. I just appreciate that they're keeping him in it, and they're still having some callbacks to the show.
January 7th was the 10th anniversary of Empire and the 20th anniversary of Pocoyo. January 8th was the 15th anniversary of Leap Year and the 32nd anniversary of Chaplin. And January 9th was the 61st anniversary of Goldfinger, the 25th anniversary of Malcolm in the Middle, and the 20th anniversary of Zoe 101, as well as the 15th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep on PSP.
Nice.
This is an aside. I think it was last night, I saw a meme. It was a Malcolm in the Middle meme, and it was, I can't remember his name, Dewey. It was Dewey and Brick from The Middle, and it's like, I want to watch these two fight.
Yes.
January 10th was the 98th anniversary of Metropolis, the German sci-fi film.
That's 156 minutes.
Yeah, 153 minute silent movie.
Film.
Like, I was shocked at how long it was, because at that point you'd have to like so many reels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the time period, absolutely.
Yeah. 20th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap on Game Boy Advance. Fun fact, despite owning a Game Boy Advance almost my whole life, I did not play the Minish Cap until last year.
Really?
Yeah, as big of a Zelda fan as I am, I didn't get into Zelda until later, so like I did not have any of the games except for one on DS. 15th anniversary of Abandon on Xbox 360. And finally, on January 11th, we had the 73rd anniversary of An American in Paris, the 30th anniversary of the Wayans Brothers, the 24th anniversary of Resident Evil 4 on GameCube, and the 50th anniversary of VVV on PC.
In lieu of birthdays, get used to me saying that. What week in a row is this?
I can't remember the last time
4
you
or
did
5 or
birthdays, to be
6.
honest. It's been
We're
I
in
think
war
November. I think
season.
November was the last time you did birthdays. I could be wrong about like early December maybe.
Listen,
it has been a while.
We might get it next week. I'll say that, and then the BAFTA nominations will be next week. I don't know.
I might have to take birthdays over.
You might have to, because we missed some big ones. We missed Ted Danson.
Yeah,
And
your
that was
boy.
gonna be, I know.
We missed your boy's birthday.
For those of you who don't know, we might have brought it up on the podcast.
Yeah, we brought it up
once.
Yeah.
It's today Ted Danson's birthday, the Twitter page, and I legitimately didn't know when it was until I happened to like wake up, because I kept thinking I missed it, and I happened to wake up one day on December 21st, and it's like, today is Ted Danson's birthday. I was like, oh, today's the day. Anyway, birthdays might show up next week, because as far as I know, there's nothing nominations wise.
Yeah, we're starting to get out of
Oscars
I think
are the 19th.
Oscars, and so yeah,
Oscars were going to be.
We will
the 17th.
have it for 1 week,
maybe.
That's
I think the only one we haven't heard yet is the BAFTAs.
Unless Jay wakes up one day and it's like, it is now the
I look through my Twitter feed from discussing film.
Boopy Doopy Awards.
I'm like, no.
Nominated by Boopy Doopy for Best Picture is.
I'm like, I just want to say birthdays. Anyway. I got 3 things to talk about this week. First off, the 82nd annual Golden Globes were held Sunday. I got the winners, some upsets, which you've already heard some about, and I will say it again. Emilia Perez took home the most awards: Best Supporting Actress in a Motion Picture for Zoe Saldana, Best Motion Picture Foreign Language, Best Original Song for El Mal, and Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy. Should have gone to Wicked. I think that's a general consensus.
It should have gone to Wicked, yeah.
Should have gone to Wicked. Hacks won Best Lead Actress in a TV Series Musical or Comedy for Jean Smart, and Best TV Series Musical or Comedy. Kieran Culkin won Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture for A Real Pain. I believe he's going to be like the front runner for it. Shogun swept all the awards it was nominated for, taking home Best TV Series Drama, as well as Best Lead Actor, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Lead Actress in a TV Series Drama for Hiroyuki Sanada, Tadanobu Asano, and Anna Sawai, respectively. Baby Reindeer took home Best Supporting Actress in a TV Series for Jessica Gunning, Best Limited Series, Anthology Series, or TV Movie. The Bear, I thought wasn't going to get away with anything, but Jeremy Allen White took home Best Lead Actor in a TV Series, Musical or Comedy. Personally, Steve Martin in Only Murders Season 4. But Steve Martin, I think, should have won, because him and Martin Short, either one, were really good in this one compared to other ones. Not saying they're bad in other ones. Mm-hmm. Conclave won Best Screenplay for Motion Picture. Deserved. The Penguin only got 1 win. Colin Farrell won Lead Actor in a Limited Series, Anthology Series, or TV Movie. And then you're wondering, where's Kristen Miliotti's win for that? So is everyone on the internet. Jodie Foster won Best Lead Actress in a Limited Series, Anthology Series, or TV Movie for True Detective Night Country.
Which, I mean, to be fair, it is a deserved win, but it should have gone to
Kristen Milioti. Now, in the Emmys, she will win because Jodie Foster has already won for the Emmys, because the Penguin came out after the Emmys. It already was eligible. SAG Awards better go to Kristen Milioti. I'm not going to rant on that, because we'll be here for forever if I rant on why Kristen Milioti didn't win Best Lead Actress for that. Demi Moore won her first, fun fact, this is her first award win for any of her performances throughout her career. Best Lead Actress in Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy for The Substance. Best Lead Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy went to Sebastian Stan. Flo won Best Motion Picture Animated, which means it's probably might be the front runner. It's that and Wild Robot are still the tight two.
Yeah.
But this gives it a little bit of a leg up. The Brutalist won Best Director for Motion Picture, Best Lead Actor in a Motion Picture Drama for Adrian Brody, and Best Motion Picture Drama, which means it's got a leg up in the Best Picture category. Challengers won Best Original Score, Motion Picture. I'm Still Here. Fernanda Torres won for Best Lead Actress in Motion Picture Drama. And fun fact, she's the second Brazilian to be nominated in that category. The first was her mother, like 40-something years ago. Best Stand-Up Comedy Performance went to Ali Wong's Single Lady, and Cinematic and Box Office Achievement went to Wicked, of course. The SAG Award nominations were announced this week for 2025. In film, the Best Actor in Film nominations went to Adrian Brody, Timothy Chalamet, Daniel Craig, Coleman Domingo, and Ray Fiennes. Best Actress nominations went to Pamela Anderson, Cynthia Erivo, Carla Sofia Gascon, Mikey Madison, and Demi Moore. Best Supporting Actor got nominations for Jonathan Bailey, Yura Borisov, Kieran Culkin, Edward Norton, and Jeremy Strong. Best Supporting Actress nominations went to Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, which is her first time showing up, Jamie Lee Curtis for The Last Girl, Danielle Deadweiler, Ariana Grande, and Zoe Saldana. Best Performance by a Cast in Motion Picture went to A Complete Unknown, Honora, Conclave, Emilia Perez, and Wicked. And Best Action Performance by a Stunt Ensemble in Film, The Deadpool Wolverine, Dune Part 2, The Fall Guy, Gladiator 2, and Wicked. Hear that, Oscars? The SAG is mentioning stunts. In TV, Best Actor in a Limited Series, TV, or Movie, nominations were Javier Bardem, Colin Farrell, Richard Gadd, Kevin Kline, and Andrew Scott. Best Actress in a Limited Series or TV Movie, Kathy Bates, Cate Blanchett, Jodie Foster, Lily Gladstone, Jessica Gunning, and Kristen Milioti. Best Actor in a Drama, Tadanobu Asano, Jeff Bridges, Gary Oldman, Eddie Redmayne, and Hiroyuki Sanada. Best Actress in a Drama, Kathy Bates, Nicola Coughlan, Allison Janney, Kerry Russell, and Anna Sawai. Best Actor in a Comedy, Adam Brody, Ted Danson, Harrison Ford, Martin Short, and Jeremy Allen White. Steve Martin noticeably missing from there. Best Actress in a Comedy, Kristen Bell, Quinta Brunson, Liza Colin-Zayas, Io Debris, and Jean Smart. Best Performance by Cast in a Drama, Bridgerton, The Day of the Jackal, The Diplomat, Shogun, and Slow Horses. Best Performance by Cast in a Comedy, Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, and Shrinking. And Best Action Performance by a Stunt Ensemble in a Television Series. Nominations were The Boys, Fallout, House of the Dragon, The Penguin, and Shogun. Also announced this week, the 56th NAACP Image Awards. There was so many categories for that. I had 4 pages worth, so I just mentioned all the movies and shows that are nominated, unless it's specific ones. Entertainer of the Year nominations went to Cynthia Erivo, Keke Palmer, Kendrick Lamar, Kevin Hart, and Shannon Sharp. All movies nominated for various awards were Bad Boys, Ride or Die, Bob Marley, One Love, The Piano Lesson, The 688, Wicked, The Book of Clarence, Nickel Boys, Blitz, Exhibiting Forgiveness, Sing Sing, A Quiet Place Day 1, Shirley, The Fire Inside, Gladiator 2, Albany Road, In Her Place, Emilia Perez, Memoir of a Snail, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, The Wall Street Boy, Kip Kimbo, Rob Peace, We Grown Now, Inside Out 2, Kung Fu Panda 4, Moana 2, Piece by Piece, The Wild Robot, Mufasa the Lion King, Color Book, Blink Twice, The Deliverance, Never Let Go, Long Legs, and She Taught Love. All short films nominated were Chocolate with Sprinkles, Definitely Not a Monster, If They Took Us Back, My Brother and Me, Superman Doesn't Steal, Iffy, Nate and John, Peanut Heads, Black History Tunes, Jackie Robinson, Self, and Walk in the Light. For television, all shows nominated were 911, Bel Air, Cross, Found, Reasonable Doubt, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, From, Power Book 2, Ghost, The Equalizer, Lioness, The Chai, Bridgerton, Monsters of an Eric Menendez Story, Genius, MLKX, Supercell, Abbott Elementary, How to Die Alone, Papa's House, The Neighborhood, The Upshaws, St. Dennis Medical, Unprisoned, The Bear, The Gentleman, Saturday Night Live, Ghosts, Mind Your Business, The Vince Staples Show, Shrinking, No Good Deed, Diara from Detroit, Heart to Heart, Sherry, Tamron Hall, The Jennifer Hudson Show, The Shop, Celebrity Family Feud, Password, Rhythm and Flow, The Real Housewives of the Potomac, Tia Mowry, My Next Act, Black Men's Summit, Finding Your Roots with Henry Louis Gates Jr., Laura Coates Live, Newsnight with Abby Phillip, The Readout, BET Awards 2024, Dion Cole, Okay Mister, Jamie Foxx, What Had Happened Was, Cat Williams, Woke Folk, and Dancing with the Stars and The Masked Singer. Costume, makeup, and hairstyling went to all films and shows: Fight Night, The $1 Million Heist, Shirley, The Big Cigar, The Piano Lesson, Wicked, Shogun, The Book of Clarence, Bel Air, and The Penguin. Stunt nominations were for Cross, Grotesquerie, Rebel Ridge, Red One, and Them the Scare. And recording, all artists nominated were Doichi, PJ Morton, Usher, Beyonce, Glorilla, Miles Smith, Samote, Shabuzi, Tyla, Chris Brown, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, October London, Coco Jones, Her, Adam Blackstone, Fantasia, Leela James, Kenyon Dixon, Maverick City Music, Miles Minnick, Mooney Long, Mariah Carey, Sounds of Blackness, Jamaica Bennett, Buddy McLean, Flo, Kirk Franklin, Kiara Sheard, Chandler Moore, Burna Boy, Victoria Monet, WizKid, Brent Faiyaz, SZA, Megan Thee Stallion, Yuki Chiba, LL Cool J, Eminem, Tyler the Creator, Skip Marley, DeVito, Tim's, JT, Chloe Bailey, Doe, Tamela Mann, Karen Clark Shepard, Yolanda Adams, Tasha Cobbs Leonard, Major, Etienne Charles, Kirk Whalum, Javon Jackson, Nikki Giovanni, Matthew Whitaker, and Samara Joy. Outstanding original score for TV and film went to Challengers, Dune Part 2, Star Wars The Acolyte, The Book of Clarence. And outstanding soundtrack / compilation album went to Bob Marley, One Love soundtrack, Genius MLKX, songs from the original series, Reasonable Doubt Season 2 original soundtrack, The Book of Clarence, the motion picture soundtrack, and Wicked, the soundtrack. That is all of my awards news for this week. Hopefully birthdays will be back next week. You got anime?
I do have some anime news. Reincarnated as a neglected noble, Raising My Baby Brother with Memories from My Past Life premieres January 2025, or July 2025, my bad. An Empire Falling to Ruin, the Kyo Empire. Living in that empire is an overweight 5-year-old abandoned by his parents, Prince Agia. Agia has memories from a previous life of him living as a Japanese man in another world. He then encounters his younger half-brother, Regulus. Agia had a vision that Regulus will kill him in the future over inheritance, so Agia sets out to raise him after Regulus's mother passed. Once the sparkling and fluffy-haired Regulus cozied up to Agia, he turned into a doting older brother before he even realized. Enjoy a fantasy story of young brothers managing their kingdom, sometimes involving the gods as they reform it step by step to bring a better land to the next generation. He'll end up killing him anyway or something. That's probably going to be the end of that. An anime adaptation of Tadashi Kubo's The Water Mage premieres July 2025. Rio, delighted to be reincarnated into the fantastical world of Phi, where he thinks he'll get to live a quiet life, learning to use his newfound water magic. Going with the flow here, however, means something very different. Rio is immediately pitted against the wild lands he winds up in and the slew of deadly monsters that call the remote subcontinent home. You'd think he forgot about taking it easy when he's stuck fighting for his life, but lucky for Rio, he's naturally optimistic, clever, and blessed with the hidden eternal youth trait. 20 years pass in the blink of an eye, and each encounter along the way pushes him one step closer to the pinnacle of human magic. Little does he realize that's only the beginning chapter of his tale. A fateful meeting soon thrusts Rio into the forefront of history, forever changing the course of his life. Thus begins the adventures of the strongest water magician in the world has ever seen, who also likes to do things at his own pace. A My Melody and Kuromi stop-motion series has been announced to celebrate the mascots' 50th and 20th anniversaries, respectively. Premieres on Netflix in July of 2025. Tugen Anki premieres July 2025, based on the supernatural shonen manga of the same name. The bloodlines Oni and Momotaro have been passed down among certain humans for generations. Long ago, the Oni were aware of their own ferocity, lived in seclusion. However, their peace was shattered by an invasion led by Momotaro. Over thousands of years, these two factions formed the Momotaro Agency and the Onai Agency, respectively, and have been locked in conflict ever since. The protagonist, Shiki Ichinoze, suddenly learns of his Onai lineage following an unexpected attack by Momotaro. This revelation sends Shiki on a path to discover the destiny that lies within his blood, a meeting with the Onai dwelling within him. A Crunchyroll manga app was announced at CES 2025. It launches sometime this year with mobile. I think it's going to be a mobile app, and then someday there will be a desktop version, but it'll be an app at first. A Ghost of Tsushima anime premieres in 2027, titled Ghost of Tsushima Legends. The year is 1274. Samurai warriors are the legendary defenders of Japan until the fearsome Mongol Empire invades the island of Tsushima, wreaking havoc and conquering the local population. As one of the last surviving samurai, you rise from the ashes to fight back, but honorable tactics won't lend you to victory. You must move beyond your samurai traditions to forge a new way of fighting, the way of the ghost, as you wage unconventional war for the freedom of Japan. And Mr. Osomatsu Season 4 premieres in July 2025.
I have some news.
You have some news?
I will go on record. I will watch Ghost of Tsushima anime.
You will watch the Ghost of Tsushima anime?
Yes.
Okay. So
and you can bring it back to here if I decide not to.
So I have to wait until 2027 to get you to watch an anime?
Oh, it comes out 2027?
Yeah.
Oh, never.
No, you're gonna watch. You'll watch Lord of the Rohirrim when it comes out. I'm making you watch that.
You could have said me like tape my eyes open. I'm like, no.
The Tugen Anki, or Anki, however that's supposed to be pronounced, the supernatural shonen one, apparently, like, he turns his blood into weapons or something, because, like, the poster is him having, like, a, like something coming out of his arms, and it goes from to, like, a gun, or something.
Yeah.
So that seems pretty cool. But that's my news this week.
On the comic side of things, for me, on DC side, Creature Commandos for the 7th episode in a row. We got episode 7 this week, which was also the season finale. I did not know it till earlier this week. I liked it. There's some things I wish they would have done different.
Some things they should have done different. Something they should have had at least 2 more episodes.
I feel like, and at least one, in my opinion, because they did a character. I like what he was doing with various episodes were character backstories.
Mm-hmm.
This one was also the season finale, and they did one. And like with what they did, it made sense. But I'm like,
you need to give the character
their own episode to focus on, and not.
The
it felt like it
finale.
wrapped up too quickly.
Yeah,
for me, I would say for the start off of DCU overall, pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good hit. Great. Giving our next thing is going to be Superman. The Penguin. Colin Farrell, of course, as previously mentioned, won the Golden Globe for lead actor in a limited series, anthology series, or TV movie. And Matt Reeves said they're currently trying to find the right idea for a season 2 and figure out how it would align with, I put the Penguin, I think he said the Batman. And the Batman Part 2 for the 4th episode in a row, Matt Reeves says the villain will be surprising. Do you see this?
So basically, he's basically like, I don't know if he's seeing the rumors and is like, it's
Mr.
him?
Freeze. Yeah.
So so that means if what he is saying is true, it's not Mr. Freeze and it's not Clayface, which probably means it's going to be it's probably going to be something. No, Court of Owls. I've said it before. Court of Owls feels like a Batman Part 3 because
yeah, it's true.
So it's probably maybe it's Holiday. Maybe they just actually do Long Halloween, but then they would cut out any of like Catwoman's parts of that story. And I don't know.
Yeah,
because Catwoman's backstory is like Long Halloween is tied to that, so that's like. The first one is kind of an adaptation of Long Halloween. Yeah. So like, but maybe they'll do, maybe they will do something a little more. I don't want to say boring, but it was so exciting getting to see the Riddler, and it was going to be so exciting to see like what they do. It's like,
Mr. Freeze.
Obviously we can't see him doing, if he's saying it's not going to be as fantastical as the Batman comics, he can't do Poison Ivy. Joker, maybe he's just going to go ahead and do Joker.
But I'm also like,
but that could be tied into the Court of Owls somehow. Like it could be Joker could be a red herring with the court of Owls use or something. And
yeah, and it's gonna have to be like a big one, a big name, like you think.
Yeah.
So like, what's left? Bane.
Yeah, but they've already done Bane. Like,
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow, but Scarecrow is the villain of Batman Return. Like I want to see them do something that hasn't been done either in a long time or like not by the Dark Knight, because it'll just be seeing a Dark Knight version again. Like if it's gonna be as dark and gritty, like I don't know. We could talk about this for a long time of who it could be. I was really hoping Mr. Freeze, but if what he's saying is true, that probably means it's not.
That's the thing. If what he's saying is true,
because he could just be probably like, "Hey guys, stop ruining the fun."
You could pull the Andrew Garfield thing and be like, "Superman." We got a new look at David Cornsweat's Superman, and Matt Reeves says the possibility of Robert Pattinson's Batman joining the DCU, quote, really comes down to whether or not it makes sense. He's also went on to say, "What the future brings, I can't really tell you. We'll have to see where that goes." End quote.
I hope not.
I don't think
we already know Brave and the Bold's going to be a different Batman. So like,
wait a while for the multiverse thing.
We need a Batman who is capable of fighting supervillains with super. We need a Batman that is capable of fighting Dr. Phosphorus or Clayface, or not someone who only deals with serial killer versions of villains. Yeah, like I want to see a Batman I want to see a Bane who actually like takes the venom and is like all, I want to see a Batman that actually is a little more accurate to the comics. Yeah. And as far as like the fantasticalness of it, I'm realistic, dark, gritty Superman. We're about to have 2 trilogies worth of that. So like, because begins Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So.
I mean, no hate on. I love Robert Pattinson as Batman.
No hate on that.
I don't want it to be. DCU is so different.
The idea of having a dark, gritty Batman and then a kind of a fantastical Batman is exciting to me. Yeah. Because I love the fantastical Batman so much. That's why I love the animated series so much. Yeah. Because it lets Batman be a detective, but also lets Batman have these weird, super powered villains. And
ooh, speaking of, Two-Face is a possible villain. He was in Dark Knight, but not for a big.
Yeah, Two-Face could be.
He hasn't had like a main villain role.
Not since Dark Knight. Tommy Lee Jones.
Anyway, on the Marvel side of things, Captain America: Brave New World for the 7th episode in a row. Got a new look at Captain America versus Red Hulk, and Seth Rollins confirmed he isn't in the final cut, saying it went through a lot of rewrites and reshoots. The Fantastic Four first step for the second episode in a row. Did you see what Eben Moss-Bacharach said? Says he uses Ben Grimm's catchphrase, "It's clobbering time" in the film, saying, quote, "I slipped it in there a couple times. I don't have final cut on this one, so we'll see." Thunderbolts, new look at Ghost, John Walker, and Yelena. And Cynthia Erivo says she wants to play Storm in the MCU, which everyone's like, I'm like, she said she wants to. It's not confirmed.
She'd be fine.
They're not saying
she'd
she
be
might
fine,
be.
but I do think there would be better choices.
Yeah.
But she would do fine.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I'm not adverse to it. I'm just like,
yeah,
okay.
Not as versed as most people.
It's like when Catherine Hahn was like, I would play Mother Gothel. That doesn't mean it's going to happen because people are like,
it
really?
just means she wants to.
Yeah, it's just like
That's not Marvel saying she's on the short list. She might.
Yeah, that's if it was a Marvel executive being like, Cynthia Erivo might be a nice choice. It'd be like okay, well, we'll see what comes with that. But like with this, when it's an actor expressing interest in a role, that means nothing because Mark Hamill has expressed interest in playing Doc Ock for the MCU, which I think would be amazing. But like,
for the MCU, for sure.
But like, it doesn't mean it's happening.
Exactly.
If anything, it means it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. For celebrity deaths this week, we do have quite a bit. On December 29th, Mike Toth, animator for Peanuts, Atlantis Lost Empire, Hercules, you said Filmation too. Much more died. They just announced it, yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah.
And then this week, Mike Render was 69, Scientology whistleblower, and Lee Remini, Scientology and the Aftermath co-host. The Vivian was 32, RuPaul's Drag Race UK winner and All-Star 7 queen. Gwen Van Dam was 96, character actress known for Halloween, The Brady Bunch, and more. Richard Cohen was 76, Emmy-winning journalist and husband of Meredith Vieira. Keller Fornes was 32, The Walking Dead and country rescue actor. Peter Yarrow, 86, one-third of folk trio Peter, Paul, and Mary. Benoit Alamain was 82, French voice actor for many things and also the French dub for Morgan Freeman. Dale Wilson was 74, voice of Cell and many other Dragon Ball characters. Bill Burge was 92, you know him as Bobby in the Ernest movies. Jim Richards was 58, comedian and co-host of Monsters of Talk. And Sam Moore was 89, one half of soul duo Sam and Dave. And of course, all the deaths of the LA wildfires happening right now, as well as the people who have lost their homes and lives. Thoughts and prayers go out to them.
It is
horrible thing happening.
Horrible thing happening.
Sources this week were Deadline, Movie Insider, IMDb, People, Variety, Slash Film, Hollywood Reporter, The Wrap, Empire, Collider, The Insider, USA Today, C21 Media, Animation Magazine, Inverse, and GQ Spain, as well as Discussing Film, obviously. Couldn't do anything without you.
I want to thank my sources, IGN, Discussing Film, Crunchyroll, Nintendo Everything, Game Rant, and the official sites and socials of the studios mentioned here today. For this week's tier list, we said we were doing like a couple mini tier lists for the rest of the month for the sake of just 2025 in review, or 2024 in review, I should say. So this week is Jay, what you got for us?
I got 15 movies from throughout 2024, some of which we've both seen, some of which only I've seen. And we're going to rank them on the Dubs meter that I previously mentioned. I have the lowest tier being bad.
All right.
Then it goes to all right. Then good.
Good.
And then awesome. And then, of course, so good.
Okay.
That's top tier. First off, we're going to go with The Beekeeper.
The Beekeeper. I didn't not get to watch The Beekeeper, so this one will be on you.
I think it's in the good territory.
The good territory?
Good territory. It's for what it is, it's a good time. I saw it twice, and I loved it each time. Next up is Argyle, which I was more excited for than I think any of us were.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it better than it was received.
I absolutely liked it better than it was received.
I'd almost say it's also good.
Good. I was gonna say good. I wouldn't go any higher than good.
It's not the best spy movie I've ever watched, but like it's pretty good.
I wouldn't go any higher than good. Next, I have Madam Web. We'll just put that there and get it over with. It's bad.
I think I said it before. Every time we bring it up, I forget it's a 2024 movie.
You do. Sony was releasing this month.
Yeah.
Next up is Dune Part 2. We're going in chronological order when it was released.
Okay.
I'm going to put it in awesome category.
Alrighty.
It's not like one of my favorites, but I'm like, I can't deny that it's just amazing to watch. Challengers is up next. That's going in so good. That's no brainer. It's one of the best movies of the year. Next up is the Garfield movie.
All right.
All right.
I would
that's what
say
was
it's an
thinking.
all right tier. It's all right.
That's what I was thinking. It's not bad, but it's,
It's definitely not good,
good,
but
yeah.
it's not bad. It's all right.
yeah. Or my good tier is like if someone asked you what a movie was and you go, it's good.
Yeah, like you'd like if I looked and was like you'd like it.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mean it's like wasn't my thing, but you'd like it. But
Yeah.
I mean, not these two, like Beekeeper or Argyle, I liked.
Yeah,
like, but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Next up is Inside Out 2.
So good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So good. Twisters, awesome. We're kind of burning through this. That's why I'm like 15.
Well, yeah.
We started out with 10, then I'd message you. I'm like, can I
We
share
better do 15 just to make it longer. Yeah.
Yeah. Next up is Deadpool and Wolverine.
I want to say that's so good.
So good.
It's so good.
I was gonna
Teetering on
say
awesome.
no lower than awesome.
No lower than awesome, but it's I loved it so much.
So good.
It is my favorite Marvel movie
In a while.
So like
Yeah. We'll put it after Inside Out 2.
yeah.
Next up is The Wild Robot. I'm gonna put it in between Challengers and Inside Out 2.
Okay. So haven't got to watch it yet, unfortunately.
Amazing.
Is it on streaming yet? I might watch it tonight if it's on streaming because it came out in
End of September.
end of September, so it might be. It's been almost 6 months.
It should be. Next up is Joker Folie Deux.
Bad.
I'm gonna put it above Madam Web though.
Okay, better than Madam Web, but still
Better
bad.
than Madam Web, still bad.
Okay.
Next up is Conclave. That's gonna go in above Challengers.
As so good.
Yes.
Okay.
Such a good movie. Such a good movie. Wicked.
That is.
I'm gonna put it up here
It's so good.
in between.
A lot of so good movies this year.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good. Of course, obviously
I
it's
could have
biased
picked
because we
from-
picked the 15.
Yeah, I could have picked some bad ones.
Oh, I'm sure we would
I
be having
almost picked some bad
we would be having a debate about Despicable Me 4 right now. Had
Oh,
you
absolutely.
included that in there?
I was like, I want to include all my favorites, but that'd all be like these three tiers. So
Yeah.
I can't do that. Do you want to put it before Inside Out 2?
I'd say yeah. It's better than Inside Out 2, I'd say.
Okay. I'm not going to put it above The Wild Rope. Next up is Craven the Hunter. You know how bad I want to put this in, all right?
Yeah, but it's bad, man. I'm sorry to tell you, man. I haven't even watched it, and I know it's bad.
It's going in between Joker.
Okay.
I like Joker more than Craven
You
the
like
Hunter.
Joker more than Craven, and
This me
finally,
with so much sorrow to say that. I wanted this to be in at least the good tier. Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
that is also so good.
So good. Is it
It's arguably an awesome movie, but like so good. Better than Deadpool.
better than Inside Out 2?
Better than Inside Out 2. I mean, if we want to talk about like the kind of emotional things it talks about, it's almost
Equal.
equal.
I'm going to put it below it.
Yeah, below. Inside
Below
Out 2, just...
Yeah. So, to recap, as you can see, this was a pretty good year for movies.
Oh, yeah.
Based on what we
Yeah,
picked.
pretty good year for movies based on
the 15 I picked.
Based on Jay's very biased picks.
Yeah, very, very biased. I'm like, I shouldn't have thrown Conclave in there, but I'm like, that's the best movie of 2024 that I've seen. In the So Good category, we've got Conclave, Challengers, Wicked, The Wild Robot, Inside Out 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and Deadpool and Wolverine. Awesome category is Dune Part 2 and Twisters. Good is The Beekeeper and Argyle. All right is the Garfield movie. And then bad is Joker Folie Deux, Craven the Hunter, and Madam Web. And that is the tier list for this week.
Yes.
15. Join us next week as we got a Stumpy-centric tier list.
Yeah, my video game. I'll have 15 video games picked out for us to rank, which is going to be a little harder because it's probably going to be a lot more of me ranking them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it'll be like for Jay, it'll be like the Zelda tier list, which is based on vibes.
Based on vibes.
Or based
I'll know
on what
Astrobot.
you know. You'll know Astrobot.
I'll know Astrobot.
There's some you'll probably know just because of how much I've talked about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Like, I'll
you've seen
know Paper
gameplay.
Mario, Thousand Year Door.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you'll throw on there.
That'll probably be thrown on there somewhere, one of the
Yeah.
15. But on that note, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the interaction things. Follow the podcast on most social medias at Mondays for Nerds. Follow me, Tristan Stump, at Sir Stumpslot or Sir Stumpslot17.
Follow me on Twitter at PolarPanda001. I went on a... I started watching
You went
Sports
on
Serengeti, and you want to see the last 2 nights. I live tweeted.
If I have ever been
2
thankful
episodes.
that Jay is not into reality shows like
Apart from The Bachelor.
apart from The Bachelor, but like I mean like the catty reality shows.
Like Real Housewives.
Like Real Housewives and stuff. I'm so glad you're not, because what you tweet about the dramatized narrations of random footage of baboons.
Baboons, lions, cheetahs, leopards.
Anyway, he
Jackals.
gets emotionally invested. So follow with caution.
Especially in the baboons.
Follow with caution.
Go look at all my tweets. 'Cause it was a good time. I was like, are you kidding me right now? I hate BB so much. Anyway, and I think I'm on Blue Sky at the same thing.
Yeah, Poe the Panda 001.
Yeah, same thing.
We will see you all next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.